Hello, and welcome to a very special podcast where Sarah and I are chatting to an amazing man who is Sanakori, a ceremonial leader of the Taino peoples who lives in the States and is going to come with us to our Puerto Rican retreat in El Yunque rainforest. We're so grateful. We're so honored, and we can't wait to hear more about your story, Sanakori. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, sure. My name is Sana Cody, residing here in New York City, Turtle Island, here in the Shirakapak area, the territory of the Lenni Lenape. I'm so happy to be here with you all, and I'm training for the rain for a yunque with the rain, So I'm in training. So
We were blessed last year. It was sun for the whole time,
really,
but the whole forest had been under cloud until we got there. We brought
oh,
the sun.
you, you see, the yunque they love the Irish. See, there you go, the yunque spirits.
There you go. So, my first question to you, Sanakori, would be, can you tell us more about the Taino people?
Wow. that's a that's a great question. Thank you for asking. Well, unfortunately, a lot of people think we're extinct, that we don't exist. But like I've been saying on social media recently, um, we're very much alive. We wash our armpits like anyone else. So here we are. We are the Taino. Basically, the first historical, I guess, recording of my people was when Columbus came over. Well, he was lost, so we discovered him, and that's my people, the Taino. It's a long history of
Mm,
I mean, my theory is 7,000 years of Caribbean living, different migrations from the Pacific Islands, North America, South America, Central America, and all these indigenous peoples collided in the Greater Antilles Islands. Well, many migrations. So when it was a great collision. It wasn't a bad collision. It wasn't an accident. So basically that around 900 Common Era is when an explosion occurred that we call Taino culture. So it
mm,
took 7,000 years to get it going. So it's a lovely culture because it's still alive and well. It's different from what Columbus saw or experienced. We're like anyone else, right? So
mm.
but we still have our traditions. Many of them, some of people that I know practice quietly, privately, or you can say secretly, and some practice it publicly, like me. Um, I'm not shy to share that my great grandmother, some of my relatives, they do honor those ancestors. You know. Now many people don't like sharing that because of the ridicule and the persecution by the church in the Caribbean.
Mm.
The church still considers us like Satan worship kind of stuff, what they call
Wow.
brujeria, like witchcraft and all that stuff. So many people are still quiet about it. So so Taino is diverse. There's many part of
Mm.
this what we call this resurgence movement, to come forward, and many still remain secret, quietly in the mountains of Borinquen, like in Yunque, Quisqueya, Haiti, Jamaica, Cuba, Bahamas, still very much alive and well. So you got 7,000 years ago up until today, we're still alive. We're still here. We have different faces, we have different colors, but we are Taino.
Wow. Wow. And what I find really fascinating, I have this book that I will put on screen for a moment.
Oh yeah,
So this is the book that we it's for the Friar Ramon Pane, isn't it?
right.
And he made an account of the antiquities of the Indians. And when Columbus came to your lands, he sent out this friar to collect the stories about the people. And that's exactly what happened in ancient Irish culture as well, in early Ireland when the when Christianity and the one God came in and started to take over the old gods, as I would say, the monks are the ones that wrote down the stories and the mythology and the folklore in a very wonderful way because it was only an oral tradition and perhaps it would have been lost.
Right.
But also, I don't know, there's a spin on it as well that, it's also seen a little bit like witchcraft and that the one God is the only way, so that it's interesting that we have this crossover with our ancient cultures.
Wow. In wait, in 1992, the Roman Catholic Church, Pope John Paul II, recognized a Taino martyr. His name was Guatumanacu. And Guatumanacu, he was famous for being the interpreter on Ramon Panay. Ramon Panay
Wow.
didn't have knowledge of the Taino language that was spoken at the time. There were many tribes living in Quisqueya, or what Columbus called Hispaniola, and so Ramon Panay was lost. He only knew a little bit of a local dialect, the Macoris, and that's his own that's his account. So it was amazing that in '92 they recognized Guatumanacu. He was the interpreter. He's the one that spoke to these caciques, these bejiques. The book that you just showed there, it has all the accounts. Yep, it has all the accounts of what was shared. Unfortunately, Guatumanacu, he was killed by
Wow.
we don't know who killed him. We think it was some caciques or some warriors that killed him. So there's a lot of theories about that. Maybe he was sharing too much. Because remember,
Mm,
Columbus wanted to know everything about the spirituality of the Taino, so he can divide and conquer. And
yeah.
that was the game. Hey, if I know their God, I could I can control them. So so that's what happened. So in '92, Guatumanacu, he was recognized as the first martyr for Christians, Catholic Christians. But that's all right.
Wow.
At least he was recognized. Um, when you read the Ramon Pane book, he says it at the end. I don't know what's first. I don't know what's last. I don't know what this is. I don't know. Yeah, because Guatumanaco, who wrote the book, got killed, so he didn't get to finish the book. So,
Wow.
but Pane takes the credit. Now, there's a famous. Um, he's an expert in comparative religions. His name is Antonio Arroyo Stevens. He mentioned this in his books. He mentions about this how Ramon Pane takes the credit for it, but
Yeah.
Guatemalacu, he's the one that really did the work. So imagine
Wow.
what he still would have written if he wasn't killed. That's one of the big what ifs, right? But
Wow.
I want to give him that credit. The Catholics or the Spanish, they called him Juan Mateo, and there's
I'm
different
Mateo.
stories in that book about Juan Mateo, the stuff they encountered. But so he's kind of controversial among Taino too. A lot of people think he's a traitor for becoming a Catholic, being baptized.
Mm,
Um, I don't think he's a traitor. I think because of him, we're able to read that book, right?
yeah.
It's like nothing is an accident, right? So,
And your personal journey then is like the opposite. So you have a Catholic background, am I right? And then realized that you wanted to hold the religion of your ancient peoples. Can you explain a little bit about your personal background?
oh yeah, that's right. Well, I used to be a Franciscan Capuchin. Back in the
Wow.
'90s, just right after I entered the 500-year anniversary that the church was celebrating, the ev- evangelization of the Americas. That's when I entered the order. I learned so much. I was able to get many texts from the early churches, documents. Batamanele La Casas, who was part of the invasion story. He was part of it. Eventually, he became the a champion for my people, defending them. Um, so I was there a good 5 years. I was able to write about my people in the church, you know.
Wow.
And I remember going to a ceremony in Montana. I was going to be a missioner in the Crow Nation here in America, and I was being groomed for that. And then I went to a sweat lodge ceremony, and that's when my world just took off. So,
Wow.
so
Wow.
I'm in a little dome lodge with like 8 people naked in this beautiful ceremony, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't want to go back to the church. I want to be in here. I want to do this for the rest of my life. So
Wow.
yeah, man. So that changed my whole life around. That changed everything. Everything I've been working on, like 10 years of studies, was like, you know what? I saw something, I felt something. My ancestors were calling me. They were saying, listen, this is what you need to do for the rest of your life is to teach
Mm.
the people that, they need to learn these ways, you know? And I still have a lot of friends who are priests and sisters and so on. And, if it wasn't for the church, I don't think I would have had that experience maybe.
Yes.
So I honor that experience, it's all learning lessons, right? I, I'm I'm
Beautiful.
I'm not a practicing Catholic anymore. I left in 1995 was my last time I went to a church service or was a leader in the church. So,
Oh,
but ever since that, I took this identity as a Taino, and I don't say Puerto Rican. Sometimes I say Boricua, but I always say I'm a Taino, indigenous Caribbean person, and
yeah.
it just changed my whole life when I was with the Crow Nation. A lot of people hear me say that, but it's like going back full circle, right?
So beautiful.
Yeah.
And Sarah, you were brought up in a very religious family as well, and yoga was your gateway drug to a kind of more
Oh wow.
animistic lifestyle, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely true. It was a independent fundamentalist Christian church, and my family was very, very, and there were aspects of it that I loved and appreciated, but then there was a lot that didn't so much make sense to me. Um, and why yoga probably ended up being my gateway drug was because uh, it there were some kind of I actually bounced over to Catholicism for a little bit
Oh
because I
wow.
liked the ritual and I liked the ornateness of it at that time. And then my big entry into yoga was in an ashram. So it was like it also had ritual and it had ornate and it had pujas where you like sit and chant. Uh, but then, yeah, what I really found missing was the devotion and care for the body and the value of the body itself and the experience of being in the body in the land. The
Mm.
very human experience of it, not trying to escape that, but trying to go deeper into it. And from I would love, Santa Corey, if you does that how does that fit in weave in with Taino spirituality? Because from what I've read, there's a very deep respect and care and value placed on the body and the body's relationship to the earth.
Mm.
Is
Yeah.
that yeah.
I mean, it was well documented that when Columbus was interacting with my people, every he always mentioned how they were naked, like the the way they were born, that's how they walked, So there's a
Mm.
little clue there that we were so open and free, that we didn't. Of course, it was a hot Caribbean island, but still, there wasn't this secrecy about the body. And there were also community baths in the rivers and stuff, and in the spas. So this whole sense of body was sacred, or is sacred, right? And
Mm.
also the community events, um, the Batu game, which is a ceremony as well, the ball game. Again,
Yes.
it's a physical interaction. Physical. You got to be really in shape to play that game. Um, Also the dancing. Dancing was was central for the ceremonies, for healing ceremonies, for social dances. You know, the dance. So again, you got to use your body. You know, and it's an instrument. It's a sacred tool. You know, I don't know if that answers your question, but it's like from.
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely. That
Mhm.
that we can pray with and through the body, through dance, through movement, through um, through chanting.
Yeah. Now,
And
mhm. I do want to
and
add that
there's
that. Oh,
movement.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, and that there's no shame in the body. Like this is part of the spirituality. We are here to experience this body, and it's a
Mhm.
sacred thing, not a shameful thing. Yeah.
Exactly. It and when you read the text, the Spanish text, there were accounts of when a stranger or another tribe will come to the village. It was normal for the cacique or the leader to share women with the strangers. I guess sense of pleasure, for pleasure. And the first war that broke out in Quisqueya was when the Spanish started raping the women and and the children. So it seems like yes, pleasure, but then it was like protocols, right? It was an honoring going on there. So the woman was considered, a sacred vessel, a sacred person, and that's when the wars broke out when it came to those rapes. So
Wow.
so it seems like there was some of that tradition too about the whole sense of the body as pleasure, and there's also a semi related to that, korokote, sexual delight.
Mm,
So my ancestors definitely saw the body as crucial towards
mm.
happiness, pleasure, and ceremony, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that the sovereignty in those women consented to the act of pleasure, but then it was taken and there was no consent. And
Yes.
that's when it became a despicable act. Yeah, that is really interesting.
Yeah, there was
That
actually in
is so
Quisqueya,
interesting.
there was two reasons for these wars. Yep. One was when the cacique was killed in Saona Island, and then the rapes. But the very, very first execution of Spaniards was when Columbus left 15 men in the northern part of Quisqueya. They were killed because they started raping the women,
Wow.
and they were killed. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, man. So
Mm.
there it is.
And you spoke to this the semi of like sensual delight. Could you elaborate on the semis or the spirits of your land?
Yeah. See, this is very to this day. It's very confusing what semis are. You know, and many people have different interpretations. Many anthropologists and they have like the academic definition of semi. You know,
Mm,
but what I like to share about what a semi is from my own experience through the Cahoba ceremony, reading those documents and reading the stories. Like Ramon Panes or Guatumanacu book. Um, it's hard to put it into words, but it seems like my ancestors, they saw this this higher power that so has so many manifestations, right? This higher power that generated so much life into this earth.
mm,
They started identifying these powers, these manifestations. So, for example, Korokote was the sexual delight, romance, and that's one aspect. So they created a semi, a figure, and then they had, for example, today right now I'm under the rain, so that's Boy Nayel, the son of the great serpent. That rain is what fertilizes the earth for the crops to grow. Again, that's that procreation, right? Again, another manifestation of the creator. You know,
mm,
by Brahma was the a semi also of fire. Also, it was the fire used to make cassava bread. Again,
mm.
fire. Um, nutrition, earth, crops, the farmers, it all generated from this power of creating, right? Also, when they used to burn the crops after a certain amount of years, they figure out, right, that they needed to burn these the ground, the earth, so they can get the nutrients back, and they'll move to another
Yeah.
area. Again, fire, purifying. So they say this is sacred. We gotta
Mm.
create. We have to honor this. So you got Bai Brahma, then you got Baragua Baer, another semi for plants, the insects. You know, um, again the healing power of plants, and then
Mm.
then you have so many others. The hurricane Guaban Sesh, which is the opposite of Atabe. Atabe is the semi of pregnancy of life, the rivers. You know. Then you got the opposite of Atabe. I mean, oh yeah, in the book you have it right. Atabe. Did you can you
Mm-hmm.
show the book again? The Rome. Okay, that's
Yeah.
Atabe. Right. Which which a lot of people consider that as the ultimate creator. Which is female.
Yeah.
You got the circle with the dot in the middle. And the opposite of Atabe power is the hurricane, which is Guaban Sesh. Again, Atabe represents pregnancy, the life cycle. Guaban Sesh represents the menstrual cycle, death. They got life and
Mm.
death. Again, that dualism.
Mm.
Semis are very dualistic, you know. I mentioned by Brahma, I mean, Boy Nayer before, the rain. The twin of Boy Nayer was Maharu, which is the sun. The
Mm.
a cloudless day. It's beautiful, this there was 12 altogether. Now when I'm trying to do you want me to continue with the other ones?
Please, please, if you
Okay.
don't mind.
Okay, let me just backtrack a little bit. The twins, okay? So we got Yokahu Bawa Manakoti. He was the son of Atabe, according to the writings. And Yokahu is the spirit of the Yuka. Bagua is the ocean or the sea. And Manakoti is the fatherless. He had no father, no beginning. Always
Mm.
was, always is. And then the twin of Yokahu is the Mautirawie Guayaba, which is the Lord of the Dead. He
Mm.
resides in Guabe, which is the place where the dead live, the dead spirits, or the
Mm.
opias, I should say. You know, so it's like a transformation between life and then the spirit world. And then you have Bai Brahma, as I mentioned before, the guardian of the fire, the guardian of the farmers and stuff, of the yucca, the construction of the cassava bread. And opposite of that is Obiye Guabian, and he's referred to as the dog deity or dog because he looks like a dog, has four legs, and he's the guardian of the gate of entrance to Guabe. So right. So then you have Baraguabaen, which is the plants. Opposite of the plants, you have Corocote, romance.
Mm.
So so that's the Yokahu part. That's what in the Cave of the Hawa it talks about the masculine aspect of God or the Great Spirit. And then there's the feminine, which is Atabe. And then you have Guaban Sesh. Now Atabe has two guardians under her, and that is Maharu, the sun, and Boynayed, the rain. Again, life, right?
Mm.
Sun, rain, creation, right? Then Guaban Sesh, I mean, yeah, she's the hurricane, the driver of the winds, the violent winds, the hurricane, the menstrual cycle, but also the purifier. Because after, I guess, I mean, I'm not an expert in this, but once your period is over, you you menstruate, the blood. Now you start all over again. Now you got the potential for life again, and that's Atabe, right? And then there's two guardians. Gua, I'm sorry, Guatauba. It's the thunder, the lightning, the crier. Hey, something's gonna happen here. Be aware.
Mm.
Now people get scared. I know. The first time I ever experienced, and Sarah, I don't know if you had this experience. The first time I experienced thunder and lightning in the Caribbean, I got scared, man, because you can feel it like right under you, right. I mean, right above you, right, and the ground,
Yeah, like it's the
right.
house. Yeah.
You get scared, man. It's like, yo, like it doesn't feel like this in New York, man. I'm telling you, but you just feel it. Like you have to stop what you're doing. So that's Guatauba, that power of like, whoa, something's gonna happen. And then and I guess you experienced that in a hurricane too, right? Being in Borinquen, right? Like that bam. It's like it's in your face. And then there's a Koa Christie. Koa Christie, she's the gatherer of the water. That
Mm.
water that comes from the mountains, that comes down, that can flood the whole area. That's Koa. Again, it's like destructive, but there's also this power behind it, you know? And then recently I've been teaching this. This is my theory. There's a 13th semi, and that's humans. That's us, the
Wow.
13th semi. You know, we're part of this because we come from the creator. You know, we come from this great spirit, this power, you know? So we're just as sacred as the other semis. The only thing is
Wow.
we kind of been as humans, we kind of use this power to destroy many times, you know, like the leaders that we choose or we don't choose. It seems like we're so destructive, you know?
Mm.
So we still have to change that as humans, right? To keep it positive, keep it constructive. But it's not easy. It hasn't been easy. So
I wonder if more people remembered these old stories. And again, going back to what you said about, or what you both said about um, nature and the body being the landscape, that we are part of nature,
yeah.
and these myths are reflective of nature. You know, if it wasn't just this kind of ethereal one God that is in another realm, would we have far more respect for the land and each other?
Oh my God. I well, I think this is why our ancestors they tread it lightly, you know, and they honor the earth. They have, you know, you see indigenous peoples throughout the world, right? This deep connection to the earth. You know, the
Mm.
flowers, the plants, that, and also the cosmos, right? Stonehenge and all throughout the world, you know, these medicine wheels, you know, the equinoxes, the solstices. There was a deep connection, you know, and then something happened, you know, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just so difficult. That's why we have to somehow, as people, as a human race, we have to go back to that,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
think.
that honoring, right?
And I guess this is why we have these synchronicities, you know, like when I was going to El Yunque, invited to Puerto Rico by Sarah, not knowing even why, like we were kind of planning this yoga retreat, and it was going to be very, you know, a basic yoga retreat. And then all of a sudden these stories were coming to us, and I found you on the internet and asked you, Sanakori, to like, I suppose tell the ancestors that were coming and see if it was okay. And you told me what to leave as an offering, and I
Mhm.
played your calling song. And you know, I just feel like we're it's no coincidence that we're brought together at this time, like,
Yes.
to tell these stories, and to um shine the light and hold the torch to the old ways.
Oh my God, yes, you got it right there. That's it. And it's, you know, you see it in children, right? When they play in the dirt, in the earth, on a sandbox or by the beach. You know, it's like, man, that's that innocence that we have to really focus on. You know, on YouTube, there's a great documentary. It's called Dakota with D, Dakota 38. And wait, or is it Lakota 38? I know Dakota 38. They really hit home on this whole sense that trauma, that whole intergenerational trauma is related to that. Like we had this beautiful relationship with
Mm.
the earth, and then boom, it was stripped away. And I think
Yeah.
every ethnicity had that experience at one point or another, right? That, being
Sure.
stripped, of you, it's funny. I was thinking of like the Germanic tribes in Europe, when they try to attack Rome, the papacy, right? I guess they saw the
Yeah.
papacy as a symbol of, wow, they want to destroy our way of life, but in
Yeah.
history they're seen as the bad guys or the bad people, right?
Yeah.
The Germanic tribes or the savages, right?
What's really interesting is the Celts went in and sacked Rome, but didn't want to take over. They just moved on. They're just like,
Oh,
okay,
that's right. Yes.
they, they just sacked it and left. There was no ego or, now we'll be the one power. They're just like, okay, cool, let's go. More things to do and see.
Yeah, I guess they were showing that they're like, hey man, we have our ways too. You can't
Yeah,
control us,
you can't control us exactly.
and we're not
Yeah.
going to control you. Just leave us alone.
So
Um,
interesting.
yeah, right. But we still trying to figure that out. How can we all get along?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sarah, how does it feel to be, living in Puerto Rico? And do people remember the Taino there in your daily life?
Hmm. Um, yes and no, of course, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think, when I first moved here, I was kind of in survival mode. I was trying to set up. I had very small children, things like that. And so I was just going about my day to day. I knew the symbol of Atabe before I knew the name of Atabe or
Mm,
met the energy of Atabe. And the the place that we go now to look at the petroglyphs, those symbols are still, I see them around, right? Yeah, so there's like the once I went to the petroglyphs, then I started to understand that those were symbols that I was seeing around, and I hadn't had the space to dive into what that was. And so it's interesting to me that the visual is there, and the symbol. And then I have certain friends, and the father of my children, um, spoke to me early on about the Taino heritage, and I have friends that will mention, and um, and I will say it's very possible to be here and kind of slide the surface and not take in any of that. Um,
yeah.
and so I feel really lucky that I did eventually have the space and to dive in and just begin to understand, you know.
Mm.
And I think what you were saying, Sanakori, is what I am picking up on also, which is there is a wave reemerging.
Yeah.
Um, and that's so beautiful. I wonder if it's we've come to a point both where there is enough of a sense of safety for it to reemerge,
Hmm.
and that this is the time when it is so deep needed to hear these stories, for the stories to be told, to remember that humans are not separate from the sacred or from the earth. We
Hmm.
are part of nature, and that the reemergence is building energy as
He wanted a cigarette, some tobacco. There you go. There you go. It's a sacred tobacco.
Sacred tobacco, sacred to the
Ooh.
people.
I don't have a cigarette. I don't smoke, but see, it's kind of synchronicity, right?
I love
it
that.
kind of is like
Hmm.
right, tobacco is an example of this thing that was sacred and then became commonplace, like, the symbol of Atabe down the street that's on the front of a restaurant.
Right.
So it's like, to answer your question, it's like it's still here and the thread was never lost
Mm,
completely. but the sacred aspect of it was left behind. But I think that's what is reemerging. You know,
Yes.
people like Corey doing the work, and people that live here, that moved here, like myself,
Mm.
Mhm.
pausing to say, wait, what are the spirits of this land? What is this nature that I am now in communion with?
Mm.
And how did this land get shaped by the stories that were told for hundreds,
So beautiful.
thousands of years here?
Mm. But I remember when we went and had our opening circle in El Yunque last year, and mm, we again through Sanakori's medicine had the calling song of the semis and of Atabe, and we did a guided meditation. I led a guided meditation, and there was this like frog like coming into my awareness, and I was like, I don't know who this frog spirit is. And then later with more research realized that Atabe has this frog form,
Hmm.
and it's like she was so present, she was so there for that entire retreat, and happy to meet us because we were in reverence and in, we knew how sacred that place is, and with no sense of wanting to take from it, like just to sit within it, it came alive to us. And I really think that was again because Sanakori had extended an invite as well. That like we really wanted to meet it in a very respectful way. But those spirits were alive in that forest, and when we sat by the river, and I was downloading like a mantra with all these like goddesses that just came out of nowhere, and like Atabe was the guide, and the frogs were just out.
El Coqui.
Koki.
Cookie. Yeah, is it true, Sanakori, that the story of those is that they're ancient warriors that are still protecting the forest and singing a lullaby?
Oh, there's different stories about the Coqui. Um, they ever share to you about the Coqui? The one I know, the
No,
story I know.
please tell us.
It's kind of mixed though. It's kind of mixed. I mean you can probably tell the mixing, but they said a long time ago there was a chief that had a very beautiful daughter. She was so beautiful that none of the men were scared to talk to her, right? So one day there was a wandering young man who came to the village. He was just like just going village to village, no purpose in life, just traveling around, and he wasn't the most handsomest Taino, according to the legend. And then they were kind of making fun of him. And then one day he saw this beautiful daughter, the beautiful woman. I mean, he didn't know it was the chief's daughter, so he just came up to her and he started talking to her and joking with her. So she fell in love with him and he fell in love with her, you know? And then the teasing really happened. Like, hey, look at that ugly guy talking to her. Like what? So then and then the men got jealous. So then they went uh to each family is saying, I can't believe it. He's so ugly. He's with this beautiful woman. I don't understand. And people were just going crazy about it. The gossip, right? And then it was announced that the cacique was gonna sponsor a wedding. That she was gonna be married to this man named Coqui. And then what happened was um the men were really jealous. So they went to look for a behique, medicine. w- Actually in the story she was a medicine woman and she was not so nice. So they asked her if she can do some kind of ceremony where she can transform him into something different, you know? And then she's like, "Sure, I can do that." So then she's so she did the ceremony and then she told the men, "Don't worry, when they kiss, he will be transformed into something. They didn't know what. So during the wedding, everybody was happy, blah, blah, blah. And everyone was anticipating, oh my God, the kiss, the kiss. So all of a sudden they kiss and boom, he turns into this little tiny frog. And then to her shock, the bride, she started to cry. She's like, "Oh my God, where is my husband? Where is my love?" Right? And then everyone started to cry. And then with the tears, the people would turn. It was like people. It was like raining, right? And then the frog went to the forest, you know, and it started to sing its song, coqui. So according to legend, whenever you hear the coqui at night singing his song, it's coqui looking for his bride.
Oh goodness.
And they say that coqui song, it's a fertility song. You know, it's a mating song. So they said they're looking for coqui. Coqui is looking for his bride. This is me. It's me, coqui. Look for me. Find me. I'm here.
Oh, what a beautiful story. My heart is broken.
I know. I always get emotional when I say it. But
Oh, I never
but
heard that one before.
yeah, but I think that was later on. Maybe during the I don't know. We'll see because that whole sense of like the what they call that the black magic and all that stuff really didn't
Mm.
exist in the ancient world. So I don't know what maybe that was added, but it goes to show how the coqui has a hold on the people to this day, right?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful creature, yeah, beautiful.
Have you any other stories about El Yunque?
Yes, this is a true story, and there was a cacique. His name was Omacao, right? And Omacao was a very brave chief. He didn't back down from the Spanish, and he was trying to make peace with them, like a peace treaty kind of thing. And the Spanish they just wanted the land. They really didn't want no peace. They just wanted his land. On his land in present day Omacao, there's a lot of rivers. It's very beautiful. And what happened was of a war broke out there in Omacao. And then um according to the archaeologists, when they discovered the battlegrounds, they only found skeletons of the Spanish, you know, and they found armor. They didn't find one Taino buried there. So either they moved the
Oh
bodies
wow.
buried somewhere else, but they weren't mixed. So according to history, Omacao, if you go to Omacao, right to this day, hey, maybe we'll go. I'll show you. You can clearly see a yunque, right? But it takes 4 days walking. You will get to the yunque from
Wow.
Macau 4 days. So according to the story, they march from Omacao territory to a yunque, and they say to this day, if you go at night into yunque, if you venture up there, you can hear the drums and you can hear the singing of his his descendants. Their descendants.
Wow.
And I've spoken to a lot of people in the area, and they say they can hear the drums at night. So,
I
and
feel the night vigil coming on.
yo,
Yes, please.
right,
Yes. Yeah.
and I don't know about you, man, but when I was there at night once, and or sundown, man, you can feel the eyes looking at you. You can feel definitely either spirits, but I can feel humans. It's kind of a
Wow.
difference. I don't know if you understand when it was a spiritual entity and a human entity. I'm telling you that, but I
Mhm.
never was able to stay up there. Maybe we should do that, right? Get special permission.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, not they
I'm
say
in.
if you leave the trail, you can get lost for life because it's so.
Wow.
A lot of people get lost when they walk off the trail.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to be really careful. But you can hear the drums at night. The people, you know.
We're actually where we'll be staying is on the edge, probably closest to Umacao.
Oh wow, beautiful.
Yeah, like we're on that side of it, on the eastern side.
Oh
So
wow. So guess what? I smell a ceremony where we can call upon those. I could bring
I
my
Yeah.
think that would be so special.
I could bring my little drum and play something and call and response. Let's see
Yes.
what
Yeah.
happens. See if they respond. It's all good. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. But that's one story I got firsthand when I went to the town. Oh my God, it's a
Mm,
beautiful, beautiful town, and the people there are very guarded with the traditions.
mm,
Very guarded.
mm.
Yeah, you get to those mountain communities, they're very guarded. You know, I think it's
I can
part.
imagine though.
Yeah, it's part of that
Yeah.
whole colonial mindset where you don't know what you're gonna say. I mean, you don't know
Yeah.
the repercussions, right?
Yeah.
There,
Yeah.
there is
Makes
even.
sense.
I'm not going to mention what town, but there is a town in that eastern region that there's a stone, right? Here's a cool story. There's a huge stone that has petroglyphs.
Mhm.
Town does not let anyone in there with a camera or cell phone, not even Smithsonian or any of these magazine people. You're not allowed to go there with any cameras or anything. They're very protective of that stone, and you can only
Beautiful.
get an escort. You can't go on your own. And then when you go there, you have to swear, like, you're not going to tell anyone.
I love thinking and talking about the Zemis.
Yeah, yeah, man.
And I even though the very they represent every kind of force and aspect of nature, creation, destruction,
Hmm.
and everything being equal, there not being a hierarchy to that, right? Each part is important. And do you also think of the Zemis Senakori as um separate but always all one as well?
Yeah.
Like all necessary parts, no hierarchy, right?
I remember, I can share this. Many years ago, I used to lead Cohoba ceremonies. And Cohoba is the sacred medicine that our ancestors practice, and I remember in one ceremony, it blew my mind. To this day, I'm still focusing on that. I saw like all these manifestations of Semis, right? And they were all creating a circle, like a tribal council circle. And all of a sudden, like the speed of light, they turn into a dot, you know?
Mm,
And then they disappeared. Then the dot comes back, and then the circle comes back. It's like, and it kept coming in and out. Yeah, exactly. It kept coming in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. It's almost like you ever seen, oh man, what they call that? I gotta get me one. You you know those circles that kind of folds, it folds and it pops out? What they call those? It's like a circle.
like a child would play with, like yeah, I think I know what
It's
you mean.
something that
I think I
collapses,
do
right?
too.
Yeah.
And then
And
it
then it
can
expands
re-expand.
again. It's like that. That's what I saw. And to this day, I'm always
Mm,
fascinated by that concept. Oh, wow. The many is the one is the many, and it's a constant flux. Like, it's
yeah.
like, wow, man. So I'm always trying to figure that out. People that know me,
Mm.
I'm infatuated with circles and dots because of that reason.
Yeah. Well, I was at a sacred site in Ireland recently, and there's one carved stone. Like we have petroglyphs as well,
Wow.
and on this one carved stone, there was almost identical to Atabe's dot,
Really?
a circle with a dot. I have a picture. I'll find it for you. And that stone circle is dedicated to the goddess Anya, who is like a fairy, the goddess of love and light. But her story is a story of sovereignty where she was violated by a man who was greedy, and she bit off his ear because in Irish culture, the king had to be perfect. So she took everything from him because of his greed.
Wow.
And in her sacred place, there is that circle with that dot in it, like you described.
Wow. Really?
I'll bring you there. I'll bring you there.
Oh, I gotta go. And I think in Egypt they have a stone that has the circle at the dot. I forget what
Yeah.
the
I was just in New Mexico and saw petroglyphs of the same. That,
Wow.
you know,
Yeah.
the
Goosebumps.
it, yeah, yeah. Like I'm looking at it, I was like, it was it? Yes, it was. I'm looking at a picture right now because it. So you know that in these very different parts of the world,
Yeah.
right?
That's so,
They were just showing truth.
Yeah.
They're like, this is how simple the truth is,
yeah,
you know?
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yup.
mm,
Exactly, man. Oh man, I tell you that needs. I think that whole concept of the circle, the dot, I think that's unifying. If we can just figure that out as a people, as a
exactly.
world community, I think that's
And
huge.
I think that's the thing I take away most from sharing these stories of our different cultures and meeting other cultures as we travel is unity.
Hmm.
And like we can speak about cultural appropriation and not to appropriate somebody else's stories, but also through appreciation we can realize that there's everything is unified through our mythologies and our folklore, that there's no division, there's no borders.
Yes. You know what's interesting?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get political here or anything. Though. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's the activist in me.
Another
Yeah.
day.
But I saw something very hopeful though. Um, I won't get into it so much, but I saw that when there's a war going on in Ukraine and so on, and Zelensky came to America to meet Trump, but he didn't come alone. He came with a unified force, the European Union.
Oh.
So I thought that was hopeful. You know, I think
Mm,
that was hope. That the key thing is to be unified, not in war, but unified in
yeah.
like, hey, we're standing up for what's right. No more war.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool.
Beautiful.
Because Europe gets a bad
Mhm.
rap. So I think that was cool,
Yeah.
man. I thought that was cool by the Europeans. I
Beautiful.
can't wait to go to Europe. I've
Thank
never
you for
been to
that.
Europe. I gotta go.
Oh, please visit. I will show you around.
Ah,
Yeah,
dang, man.
it would be beautiful. We'll share ceremony on this land and your land.
Oh, but I definitely want to go to Spain. I gotta get the gold back. I'm just, I'm just kidding. Any Spaniards that are watching this in the future, I'm just kidding, man. But yeah, but not really. At least have dinner, right?
Yeah, I guess they took a lot of gold. There's a place in El Yunque that the soil of the mud is full of gold, and we just rub it on our faces and all over our
Oh yeah, you
bodies.
see that?
It's
You,
so
you
beautiful.
see that, right? It's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't, and it's funny because I had to be told what it was the first time
Wow.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. That's
because I don't think I believe like it was too amazing to be true, sort of, or something like that. But yeah, it's all through the pool, one of the pools that we swim in there,
Yeah.
right down from
did,
the property.
did you guys walk the trail in Yunque? There's like it's like in the beginning, and to the right, there's like a swimming hole, like a swim where you swim, and it's like a rope. You saw that?
I have been where I think you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking
That
about. It was a number of years ago now. Yeah.
that's paradise right there. When you leave that trail and go into that water thing, that's paradise. Look at the trees. My God, that's if there was a garden of Eden, that's it right there. And you hold on to the
Mm.
rope. Huh?
That's kind of how I feel when we're at the lower spot on the property. Like, oh, this is nature in her most extravagant, lush demonstration. This is amazing.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Yunque is special.
So,
Yeah.
Sonny Corey, what was the woodpecker? And I'm showing the picture of that today again.
Okay.
Tell
Oh
me
yeah.
the story about the woodpecker.
Okay. There's a story about in one of those book in the book. There's a story about the men. At one point, the men had no women, so So they decided to look for women or create women, and they searched for 4 men who had the caracol disease. It was like a disease where you get calluses in your hands, and
Okay.
so they found these eel creatures in the water, like eels. So they captured 4 of them and they tied them to a tree, and they asked woodpecker to see if woodpecker can create, something. So woodpecker started pecking on the chest area and the vagina area, pecking. So when you look at that, and it created women. So when you look at the photo, yeah, turn it to the side, and you can see where the vagina is. You can see the eye, and you can see the
Yeah,
woodpecker
I see
beach,
it.
and you can see the
I
wings. You
love
can
it.
see the wings. So whenever I see that, I
Yeah,
see the woodpecker, the sacred woodpecker, praying the women.
that's amazing.
That's my theory.
Yeah, these stones are amazing. The petroglyphs. I visited ones up north. Would it be, Sarah, where I ended up? Is that north of the island?
Yeah, you were more you were in more the center of the island, west
Okay.
of El Yunque. Um,
Oh, what was the petroglyphs?
like
Oh my.
in
Um,
Utuado
Oh, so
area.
you went to Caguana?
yes.
Yeah, that's where you can find that petroglyph.
Yeah, this one exactly. But there's so many more. I mean, it's huge. It blew me away. And there's loads of gold in that soil and in the river behind it as well. And we swam in the river. It's such a beautiful place. I felt very honored to be there.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's a great. That was the last during the wars with the Spanish. That was the last area of fighting. Was that area? Yeah, there's a lot of deaths there.
What?
The
Does that
Hayuya,
mean it was like the last?
Hayuya.
It was the last, like held spot.
Yeah, that was like the
Is
last place.
that's why?
And it's interesting because
Oh,
Mm,
was that.
that makes so much sense.
And it was funny because
Give it.
during the American Rebellion in Hayuya, that's where the United States bombed that town. The National Guard bombed that
wow.
town. So it's in Hayuya. So it's a very power. It's a power source there.
Yes, you can feel
You
it.
can feel it, right?
Absolutely.
Did you guys
Mm.
go up that mountain? Were you scared? I mean, those roads are very tough.
Yeah, my friend, she lives here in Ireland. She was driving, and we'd rented a car, and I don't think I would have driven those roads.
Yeah, usually when I'm in Borinquen, I always drive, and people get sick all the time. But when I went there, I was getting sick. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. These roads, Utuado, man.
Yeah, it's like a roller
But
coaster.
it's beautiful. You got to take your time. It forces you to slow down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so stunning.
Wow, that's beautiful. When we meet up, I gotta take you to Sidra. There's also a sacred area there too. Sacred site
Beautiful,
in
beautiful.
Sidra. Uh-huh. So it's all
Okay,
sacred, right? You, you,
it's all
you,
sacred.
you,
Yes, but some places remind us to look everywhere else.
exactly, these markers, right? Yeah, man.
Mm.
So there's an old adage that says nothing is sacred. That means everything is.
Mm. Mm.
It's all sacred, but it's good though. It's fun to go to these spots, right?
Would you be willing? Would you be willing? I know you're again standing by Yankee Stadium, I think you said, in the
I think it
rain,
stopped
but
raining. Uh huh.
to put out a call to the people that might come to El Yunque with us and meet you, would you be willing to do the Taino calling song?
Oh yeah, sure. Oh man, it started to rain just when you said that. Wow. All right, let's do that. Let's go for it. I got my little trusty rattle
You.
here.
Uh,
All right, so you want to do the short version or the long version with all the semis or just the Atabe Yokahu?
I'd like the long version, but only if you feel
Oh, no,
comfortable.
no, no problem. We got it. Okay, so I'll do the 12 that I mentioned earlier, and then we'll, and then So okama means listen, listen. So this is like a listening, like we're asking the creator to listen to us. The 13th sent me. Listen to us. We got something to say. We are part of this power, you know. Whoa, okama, okama, atave iguabances. Whoa, okama, okama, maharu, oinaye, okama, okama, guatauba. Boa Christie, O Kama, O Kama, Yokahu, Mataurie, Guayaba, O Kama, my Brahma, Paraguay. Oh, Kama, oh, Kama, Obie Guamian, Orocote. Dainoti, oh, Dainoti, 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 oh, Atabe, Suimako Mamona, Yokau, Wama. All right.
Wow. I felt
Wow.
that
Woo.
deeply.
Felt like we in a yunque, right? I felt that was good.
Wow.
Wow.
Thank you.
Oh man, thank you.
What does Taino tea
Oh,
mean?
Tainoti means God bless you. God be with you, I should say.
God
God
bless.
be with you. So
Wow.
even we
Wow.
receive the power, we are the power, and we release it. So God be with you.
Mm. Mm.
Because you are the power. You are
Thank
God.
you. Mm.
So that's it.
I'm so grateful to know you.
Oh man, likewise, man. Likewise, both of you, man. This is great. This is a small world, right? I do have a um I do have a project I'm working on. It's called the TainoFunHouse. So I'm trying
Yeah.
to make Taino culture fun. You know, a place to hang out where you could be safe as a Taino here in the diaspora. Eventually, I want to
Wow.
expand to the islands. I got some connections in Dominican Republic, so I'm working on that Taino Funhouse there, and also in the definitely in my hometown in Puerto Rico, Bonican, my home island, and you know, I'm I think it's important. I think sometimes I used to fall into this trap where we take life too seriously. We take the culture too seriously. We take ourselves too seriously. So I just want to make it fun again.
I love it. Well, your name means that, doesn't it? Like the sacred,
Oh, the clown.
what does Sanakori mean?
Oh, the
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 clown, the
sacred.
sacred
Yeah,
clown.
the valiant clown. Yeah. So
The valiant clown, the valiant clown. That is so beautiful.
yeah, thank you.
And I said to you before when you told me that that the fool in Shakespeare is the only one that tells the truth and sees the bigger picture. So I think there's something very special in that valiant clown.
Oh wow, I like that. Thank you. Yes, I never thought about it like that. So yeah, and then people get scared of clowns sometimes, right? They go, but we just gotta make it fun. We gotta have fun.
Yeah.
This existence is really short if you look at it. If we're lucky, we got 80 years. That's
Mm.
like 8 decades, right? If we're lucky. So,
Well,
huh?
I was discussing with somebody I was at an event at the weekend, and we were saying, if you look at whatever age you are in your life, how many more summers might you have? You know, so like I'm 40, so if I'm lucky, I get 40 more summers. We might get 30 more summers. Um,
Yes,
that's when you think about that, like rather than years, it feels so short and precious. You know, that you're just going to get this very small amount of anything. You
I
know,
like that. I like
so
that.
we need to, yeah,
I like
we
that.
need to see life as very precious.
Yeah, it's true. That's why there's the whole sense of just having fun, playing around and
Yeah.
love, excitement. You know, we need more korokote. You know,
Yes.
we need more. What do you call it? We need more everything. In a good way. In a good way, a positive
Questions?
way, positive way.
No.
Well,
Beautiful. Yeah.
I'm so deeply grateful for this conversation. To to really, I feel so blessed to be able to know that I'll be in circle with you both
oh
in
man,
LUK. Thank you so much.
oh man, you're welcome.
This
Thank
is
you.
just the beginning.
Let me see. Ha home. Thank you. Wow, this is great. Yeah, I can't wait. Yunke, here we come.
Okay, here we go. Okay, Sanakori, get your train, go
Oh
home,
yeah.
be safe.
Oh, that I don't know. You guys want to see Yankee Stadium? Hold on, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, we do.
I'm, I'm a New York Mets fan, but let me see. Oh, there it is. I think you can see it from here. Hold on. Can you see the words? Yankee Stadium. I know it's far away,
I
but
can kind of see, I
I
think.
see the building
yeah,
though.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Look, we're cultured. We're in New York.
yeah, this is the field right there. This is South Bronx. Look at the ball fields, but so there we go.
Very cool.
So man, well, thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Thank you. And we will see you in November, and we'll be speaking before then. And thank you for everything.
Oh man, no, thank you, and we got this, right?
We got this.
All right.
Okay. Bye
Okay.
bye.
God bless you. Bye bye.
God
Taino
bless. Shalom.